Good evening, everyone. Welcome to A-Team's project presentation. First, let me introduce our members. Our project was managed by team lead David, weekend tutorial with Kevin. Over the past 3 months, we have 4 developers working on this ST Master Full Stack project. So at the very beginning, we confirmed that our business value is to build our clients a better platform to manage their property documents. And then the system can quickly generate investment reports, which will greatly save their time when comparing with their current daily workflow. Key modules of our current project include property upload with files, searching and filtering, customizable report generation. Here are the main tags for our front end. I will highlight that we used Redux Toolkit for global state management. This gave us the ability to customize report parameters without worrying about complex props passing between components. And also, Google Map API bring us a lot of improvement on our user experience. So without further ado, let's now move to our dashboard. Once we log on our website, we will be landing on the property list pages. And then if you you can click the button to go each detailed pages. This page is also available for public, and you can switch the images easily with these buttons. And during the upload process, you can select some nearby facilities. I will come back to this page later. So this is our main module. We are targeting the properties upload and view. And let's move to the add property. So here we have auto-complete supported by Google Map API. For example, if I want to type in this address, we can just type in 124 Ross. So they will provide us with the suggestions, and it's a lot easier for user to input. And then we can select some images for upload. The features of this file upload also included, for example, we add the each image will be able for tagging. Say I will tag this one interior. I can also choose one of them as a cover. This one is a plan. And then we can just get these inputs. Down here, we have the nearby facilities. This is another feature supported by Google. So based on the selected address, we got the coordinates, and then we can just pick whatever we want to provide for the users. And they are also appearing on the map here. If we can click on it and see the ratings. If we don't want it, we can remove it here, and it's just a bit more convenience for the users. Once we got things selected, we can just upload this property. And then let's move back to the list page. So we can see our property has been uploaded. And this is the one we set as cover. All the selected nearby facilities showing up here. Okay, the third section of our project is to generate the report. We have a few steps. First, we will be able to search our clients from the database. We get those parameters set for the calculations. We can search the property by the address, postcode, and agents, and even the keywords in the descriptions. So on this section, we call a few API calculation APIs provided by our leader David, such as this one. We can adjust it, and we got the calculations back automatically. So this is the key parameters that we are after for investment. Some of the business partners, such as the lawyers, brokers, agents. Now let's move to the final part, is our report. I can show 2 pages. And this is the photos we uploaded just now, and also the nearby facilities, and the investment reports all generated very conveniently. I think that's all for now, and I'll pass to our backend teammates.
Okay, thank you, Joe. So next slide, please. Okay, so to summarize our backend, we are used to like AWS CDK and AWS CloudFormation to define and manage our infrastructure as code, and then use the GitHub Actions to set up an automatic workflow that includes the process like building, testing, and deploying our infrastructure code and associated applications code to our AWS environment. Okay, so next slide, please. Here is our AWS architecture. API gateway serve as the entry point, receiving the request and forwarding them to Lambda functions for processing. And all of these functions interact with DynamoDB to store and retrieve the data. And stat access resides in S3 bucket, enhanced by CloudFront for global distribution. So when a request is made, API gateway trigger the corresponding Lambda via integration, which access DynamoDB, S3, or responsive directly. Okay, next slide, please. Here is the pipeline of our project. We use GitHub Actions to complete our pipeline. In the front-end deployment, we mainly use the bootstrap and commands that come with AWS deployment. On the backend, we use Webpack to deployment. And in order to avoid the permission conflicts, we use Ubuntu as our image to avoid the permission problems caused by native image when using Webpack. Okay, next slide, please. And here is some example and the screenshot of our API's endpoint. Yep, next slide. Okay, we also implement the Swagger UI API docs via Lambda function. It allows us to interact and explore APIs directly from a web browser. Okay, next slide. Yep, this is the test part. In our test part, we implement the unit test and integration test. For integration test, we conduct black box testing, essentially use self-JS DynamoDB to mock our DynamoDB locally, At the same time, we also conduct a stress test on the API part. Yep, this is the process of our test. And the next slide, please. Okay, at the end of our presentation, I would like to talk about what we have learned in this project. The most important one must be the test deck, because in this project, we use the serverless as our backend. This is definitely a new thing for most of us. So we start from zero. We learned what is CloudFormation, what is CI/CD pipeline, and so on. So next slide, please. And on the other hand, we learn from the experience that we talk to our clients. For example, when the clients tell you their workflow, then how could you design your system and how to implement it by your code to really improve the efficiency of our clients' work. Yeah, this is the summarize of from our teammates about like what they learned from this project. Okay, I think basically this is that's all for our today presentation, and please allow me to represent our team to say thank you to our teacher Debbie and our tutor Kevin. They are really responsible. Yeah. So thank you for your listening, and this is all for our presentation.